that that's what you can have here, that no one can lean against me, that they are after me, of course, that is what you can have, that I'm in the time machine, of course, that is what you can have, that I'm traveling around, of course, that is what you can have, that I can tell you that I had enough, of course, that is what you can have, that no one can lean against me, that before they took your wife and make her go with them in a trip, and they make a trip for your wife, so she believes she was in heaven, of course, and then they fall dead, of course, to be God, of course, and now when that is over, they just fall death and nothing else, of course, they fall death to be Jesus, of course, that is what you can have, that they want to fall death to be Jesus, and that you, their father from their family, are a shame and a blame and something to reject, of course, that is what you can have, and they wanna fall death, that is what you can have. Of course, and so it goes on, that instead of falling death to reject the father from their family and to say that it's a shame and a blame, you should build up your own family, of course, that is what you should do, that is what you can do and what you did, and of course that is what you see when I come in here, so come on, and of course that is what you can have, that you should work, find your woman, and try to build your family, protect your family, of course, instead of going around there haunting, of course, because that is what they do, they haunt, of course, they haunt families with pigs, of course, because they are so obsessed with their lives that they fall death to reclaim their life, of course, that is what you can have, that is what they do, and I had enough, of course, they fall death to reclaim their life, that is what you can say, so what are you gonna say, of course, they fall death to reclaim the life you had, and that you helped to build up their life, that you raised, the life that you built up with your work and with your effort, of course, and they fall dead and say that you're a blame and a shame and something to reject only because maybe you glanced them with a kiss, maybe not even, but could be, of course, and things like those, of course, that is what you can have, or if not, they fall directly death by your side and ruin your family. Of course, they fall directly death by your side to reclaim your family, your life, and your everything. Of course, that is what they do, and I had enough, of course, because maybe they don't even wait that you glance them with a kiss. Of course, because they want that you glance them with a kiss, but there is ways to touch that, of course, but if not, they fall directly dead, of course, that is what you can get, but the movie is not murder. Kamikazes, there is a lot of them yet, of course, that is what you can get, so what are you gonna say, of course, that they fall death by your side, and then you're the shame, the blame, who has been rejected from their family, of course, and they take your life, of course, and they do everything just to take everything from your life, to take your life with them. They were so obsessed, of course, they were obsessed with your life, and they're out falling dead, of course, but they do that because they don't have the value to go to work every day and Build up a family like they should do, of course. They should go to work and build up a family, of course. That is what you can have instead of falling dead by the side from some family, of course. That is what you can get. That they win because the father then is the shame and the blame and has to be rejected and lose their life. Of course, that is what you can have and losing lives means losing shields against the pain in the streets, of course. That's what you can get, so it's life. So what can you say, of course? You can have. That is what they do the whole time, of course. That is what you can have. That I'm in my time machine, of course. That is what you can say. That no one can against me, say come on. Of course, I'm on my time machine. Of course, that is what you can have. That no one can against us. Of course, that they want to fall dead by your side because they were so obsessed with your life and want that you feel shame and blame and be rejected from your family. They want to destroy you. Of course, and with me, they wanted to eat more because they had envy and because they are jealous because I have so much money and so much success in my enterprises. Of course, because which you can have that I was no one. I had some diamonds from some friends, but the diamonds from the friends come back. But I made a bar and could send them money to take care of them. The money came back. Of course, I was a hot boy with nothing but love. Of course, that is what you can see. And when I made the bar started working, and I began to make money. I sent money to them, of course, and they could take care of their lives, of course. I'm a money machine now, but they started in the ghetto with nothing but love, of course. And that is more priceless, of course. You think I want so much money?
Eureka Beats.
Of course, that is what you can have. That I was there, of course. And you think I want this for money? I have so much money. You think I want it? Of course, it's useful to dodge the pain in the streets, to have some shields against those things that can happen. Of course, the money is useless for that. Of course, that is what you can get. But there's many fishermen trying to fall death and say that you're a blame and a shame and that you have to go away and that you have to be expelled, of course. And I don't like that, of course, but money is good to take care from your life and have shields in the streets, of course. That is what you can have. That money is useful. I don't want so much money, but I had luck that I could give money to all them and raise them and give them a place to be and make them capoeira to don't be hurt in the future when they grow up. Of course, I take them to school, make some capoeira so they don't be hurt when they grow up. Of course, that is what you can have, so is life, so is life here, so is it how it can be. So what are you gonna say? Of course, that is what you can have, that I take care, I have a nice family, I have so much success with my enterprises and I give them money and they are rich, everyone is rich here around me. And of course, that is what you can see. But there are many fishermen trying to fall dead and say that I'm ashamed and I blame because they're obsessed with my life and they wanna reject me, of course. That's how it's life.
Eureka Beats.
Of course, that is what you can have, that they had enough of this fisherman that they only want to fish because they're obsessed with your life, of course, and you should tell to them that they should go to work and make their own family and grow up and take care of themselves and make them their own shields, working with their wives and make their own shields for all this shit in the street. Of course, that is what they should do, but they don't want to work and they prefer to come and fall death by your side and arrange your life. Of course, that is what you can see. That is what they do. But okay, what can you do against that? Just not much, of course. Just survive how you can. Of course, I'm in my time machine. Call me to the night. Of course, call me at 9 o'clock. Of course, I'm in the time machine, babe. Call me at 9 o'clock, of course. And we forget about this whole point. Of course, I had enough. Of course, that is what you can have from me. Kisses and bye.